dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yup, what's good, original crew? It's your boy DJ New Kid, your girl.
Sierra Nicole.
Back on the channel. New Patrick CC, man. We got how Beyond Scared Straight failed to prevent kids from becoming criminals. So I know we ain't finna blame Beyond Scared Straight because.
Well, wait.
First off, we gotta blame the parents.
What? Right.
First off, you blame the parents. Then you blame
But let's see.
the other society around them.
But let's see what's being
You can't blame Beyond. Well, I have seen people. The one girl, I think she dead now. I think she went viral because she died like a couple years ago, and I forgot what her name was. She was gangbang for real.
Yeah, I think you have you showed me that. Or
it was
told
like
me.
a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But she passed, and I want to say she passed because she did a home invasion in some kind of way in that situation. I think that's what it was. I'm not 100% sure, and I forgot what her name was. But we can't blame a TV show like a TV show is supposed to really change and because it's only temporary.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of time when we send our kids to boot camp, you have to change the nature at home as well. Your character building starts at home. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna be trying to teach your kids to go on a straight and narrow road when y'all don't live a straight and narrow road? You know what I'm saying? So like character building starts at home. The first example of everything starts at home. The first role model your child should have is within the home.
Facts.
So,
but let's see.
But
yeah, I agree with you.
But do you feel like a lot of kids probably didn't straighten out?
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Cause do they do like I know at the end of the show though that like they do like little,
but that ain't no real follow up.
You know what I'm saying?
A real follow up is like 3-4 years later.
I was just about to say I need like a year follow up, a 2 year, 3 year.
I need
like
about 3 to 5 years later, and that's when you really see if that.
I need something like that, like
couple months.
That's
cool. Then they're gonna be right back at it.
Right back at it.
So,
but I don't know.
Hey, with that being said, make sure y'all check out the links in the description box
down below.
You already know where to go, man. You want the first part, you have to do is check out down below. Also, if you enjoyed today's video,
like it with a thumbs up.
All right, man. Let's go. Let's check it out. Let's see what it's about. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's roll this, man.
Beyond Scared Straight is easily one of the most controversial shows in history. Parents of troubled youth pay for their children to tour the inside of a prison or county jail so they can be exposed to the dark reality of life behind bars. When they arrive, they meet with real inmates who strike fear into them with threats, with the goal being to prevent today's teenagers from becoming tomorrow's prisoners. But their exposure therapy techniques are definitely questionable.
What is wrong with you, dog? Chill out. You are starting in the wrong way.
This Kool-Aid, we put this on just like you. Lick your lips. Now stick your hand in that Kool-Aid. Just stick it in there. Now take your finger, just...
That was one of the funniest moments, bro. I'm like, for one, that ain't finna help the kid. It's gonna scare the kid. You know what I'm saying?
You said it's gonna scare him.
Scar the kid. Yo, you remember that one that?
I guess this was
the boy. They said the boy ended up dating the other one.
Huh?
On one of these shows, one of the episodes, it was a man who walked in there, and the boy, he was out.
I don't.
Do this to the bottom one. Come here. I kiss you, you orange flavor mother. You ready? You hard, man. You hard. You want to hold? There you go. You want to do? Try me. Try me. Yeah, try me. I want you to try me. I want you to try me. Try.
Now, there's no doubt that the show is entertaining and has given us some pretty hilarious moments over the years. However, our entertainment is at the expense of children's suffering. And the craziest part is, it has been proven on multiple occasions that Scared Straight doesn't work. In fact, it might actually increase their chances of becoming lifelong criminals. A lot of people don't realize that Scared Straight is not just a television show on A&E. It's a program that has been implemented all over the United States for the past 50 years. And the reason it got so popular was based on just one alleged successful experiment. Scared Straight was the name of a television documentary released in 1978, produced by Arnold Shapiro. It was critically acclaimed, won an Academy Award, and even won an Emmy.
See, they're gonna put lipstick on your lips, earrings in your ear, and have you swishing your ass up and down these tears, hustling cigarettes for your man.
What did I say? What did I say, mother? You're here for 2 hours? You belong to us for 2 hours.
The film documented youth offenders who visited Rahway State Prison in New Jersey. They met with inmates with the goal of being so scared of going to prison that they went on to live a straight or crime-free life. The documentary claimed that 80 to 90% of the 8,000 children who visited Rahway's program would go on to remain law-abiding citizens afterwards. The popularity and surprisingly positive results led to more than 30 states rapidly implementing the program. No further questions were asked. Jails and prisons all over the country saw one documentary and thought they had a solution to all of their youth offender problems. The program's validity was immediately questioned by juvenile delinquency professionals, but that didn't stop it from becoming popular. The original documentary was followed by Scared Straight, Another Story in 1980, also produced by Arnold Shapiro. This one was just a dramatic film. The subjects were actors who did scripted reenactments of their petty crimes, which led them to entering the Scared Straight program, being screamed at, and then feeling reformed after a couple overnights in the prison. Then in 1987, Scared Straight 10 years later aired.
I'll be your host for Scared Straight 10 years later. A fascinating update on what's happened to the kids and the convicts filmed a decade ago.
See, now that's different. You know what I'm saying? So let me ask you this question then. Say for instance you have a child, you know what I'm saying? You have a child that's acting out. You know what I'm saying? Would you put your child in a program like that?
Probably not. And don't ask me why, because I don't know. You asked me the question, and I just want my first thought. But I feel like it depends, but at the same time, probably not. I feel like there's other. I'll say this: it depends on what other resources that I have already exhausted before. That'd probably be my last resort, if so. But probably not. Because
let me say this: if you feel as though you at the point where you have to put your kids through a program like this, I feel like you feel as though you have you have nothing. You can't think of anything to do to correct. So sometimes in that situation, do you feel as though probably it might be necessary to just send them up? You know what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, growing up. I almost got sent up as a child. You know what I'm saying? I was at the point where, they were like, hey, we just finna send them up.
Because I will say, as far as, being, sent up to, a group home and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I personally, firsthand, have seen that be a success for someone.
Yeah. You
know what I'm saying?
So let me say this. I've seen success stories from people being sent up.
Yeah.
But I've also seen failure stories.
And yeah.
Where people have went in and they came back and you be like, bro, I don't know what the hell.
But I feel like that's with anything. There's going to be that 50-50. It's you taking a chance regardless. You don't know if it's going to help, but you feel like you have nothing else. You know what I'm saying? You feel like you've done all you can do. And it's kind of
because my thing is, I've seen, it's because I feel like there's different levels to being sent up. Some I actually getting locked up, and so my situation was locked up. The situation you're speaking about is more of a group home, not like a prison. You know what I'm saying?
But you weren't going to no prison.
No. It's when my
it wasn't no prison though. It probably would have been.
It was a boys' jail, juvenile jail, correctional facility. Yes, I'm telling you, legit. Yes.
Okay.
Not what you thinking about. I'm saying literally. Okay. Yeah.
And you think that was gonna?
For me, nah. They probably would have sent me down even further. Cause I had a homeboy who actually went, and he came back home because he went for attempted murder.
let me say this. I feel like it just depends on the person. It depends on where you go, because even I'll just say, because me telling the story, whatever.
You gotta say no.
No, I'm not gonna say. Well, okay. Anyway, the person that had got sent up, even people that was sent up with them, like afterwards, they got out and still went on that
a lot of them do.
Went back to doing whatever. But then you have the success stories, so it just depends.
I need and I want. It's embarrassing. 10 years ago, yeah, I did that. I did that to look good. Now the difference is I want to look good, but I like to pay for what I take.
We got to see the original 1978 crew, and they all explained how much the program changed their life for the better. The second half of the documentary introduced a new group of troubled teenagers. After their trip to Rahway State Prison, the documentary claimed that all 17 of the youth offenders were crime-free just 3 months after their visit. Then MTV connected with Shapiro for another sequel, Scared Straight 99. This documentary was potentially the most raw and shocking of them all. The prisoners were threatening these kids to levels we had never seen before. One inmate made a kid hold his pocket as he walked around the cell.
As a matter of fact, hold on to this mother. Hold on to my crack white. Don't get killed, and you walk with me, mother.
This was highly regarded as one of the best out of the series, and people still genuinely believe this was an effective form of therapy for youth offenders, which makes sense when you consider the societal standard during this time period. Mental health issues that are widely known today had not been vigorously studied. Mental health as a whole wasn't taken as seriously as it is now. Plus, it was a lot more common for parents to use tough love and physical punishment to discipline their children. These programs were seen as an extremely cheap and convenient solution to a very complex problem that is juvenile delinquency. But where Scared Straight received renowned media attention was when they released their 20 years later special. They claimed that of the 17 original 1978 children, only one of them became a career criminal. The 95% success rate shocked news publications. Scared Straight was a miracle solution. They used 17 people's stories for 20 years to justify this entire program around the United States. But the popular A&E series you all know and love didn't come until 2011 and was produced by the same man, Arnold Shapiro. So by the time most of us became aware of Scared Straight, it had already been a well-seasoned program all over the United States for 30 plus years. Beyond Scared Straight was a TV show that documented the experiences of troubled children as they embarked on a forced tour of a maximum security prison or jail. During the tours, inmates and officers would go to the greatest lengths, screaming, locking them in cells, putting lipstick on them, roughing them up, anything they could do to shock the children and make them terrified of going to prison in hopes that it would steer them clear of a life of crime.
What's up? You like to fight, homie? That's what you like to do, huh? You little bitch. You's a bitch, homie. You's a Pop-Tart. I see right through you, homie. You better not stop. You better. You hard, man. You hard. You want to do hard? There you go. You want to do? Try me.
Did you smirk at me?
He says he don't know. You can't speak up, can you?
Are you smirking
Why can't you
at
speak
me?
up?
Fact, bitch, you hold this. You drop it, I'll smack out of you. I don't give a about going.
This was the most staggering and horrific Scared Straight program we had ever seen, and people loved it. The show's premiere alone attracted a staggering 3.7 million viewers, making it the
But we also got to realize A&E was at its prime around that time too, though. You know what I'm saying? First 48 was thriving. You had Criminal Minds on it thriving. You had a lot of shows, even from, you know what I'm saying? Nah, that was History Channel. But they right there beside each other. But I was finna say some others. But you know what I'm saying? Like, was Hoarders on A&E? Like, Parking Wars was on it. Like, A&E was thriving. So anything y'all threw on A&E, I feel like was going to thrive. And it's, especially with the fact that it has kids. It has violence. It has, you know what I'm saying? So people like,
and
oh,
just
yeah.
the commentary, like, for some of the episodes that were, like, more so funny instead of, like,
too serious. Like,
you know, so.
And a lot of people just found, like, just like it being a comical relief.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe they doing that, man. I never let nobody do that.
And then some of them that were kind of like, you know, just depends.
Most watched original series debut in the network's history. The undeniable success of Beyond Scared Straight led them to producing 83 episodes across 9 seasons, spanning from 2011 until 2015. But the most eye-opening realization about this show is that the Scared Straight program was proven by the federal government not to work. Since the release of the original film, many justice institutions and criminal prevention professionals have thoroughly studied the effects of the program to determine if it actually works. Surprisingly, numerous studies have shown that the scared straight method can actually do more harm than good. The most significant study was conducted by the U.S. Department of Justice after the release of the original film. They examined the outcomes of 9 controlled trials conducted from 1967 to 1992. This involved over 900 children, with the average age of 15 to 17, who participated in scared straight-like programs in 8 different states. Also, each study was conducted by a different research team. Every one of these studies also had a control group that did not attend a Scared Straight program. So they were comparing youth offenders who went to Scared Straight versus youth offenders who didn't attend one, and measured their likeliness to become a reoffender. The study found no evidence to support the effectiveness of Scared Straight in similar programs. In fact, all analysis showed that involvement in these programs increased measures of crime and delinquency. In nearly every...
I feel like one reason why the crime, it just makes them more enticed. Now they have a reputation, right? Mm-hmm. So back when I was in school, I kept going to alternative school. Mm-hmm. So we used to have alternative school. Then we had, you went to, it was like Justice something. Those, if you went to the Justice Academy, you went you had 180 days plus. Yeah. I've seen people who had to go to the Justice Academy for 3 years, 3 school years. How does somebody get an education outside of school for 3 years being in a confinement of so it's like a room. So it's not like you went to jail, but it was like you kicked out. You cannot come back on school campus. Yeah. And so a lot of people was there for a year to 3 years. You know what I'm saying? And most of them, they be 16 in the 7th, 8th grade. It's just all right, y'all got failure for them already. Me, I was going to alternative school, so I was getting kicked out. I think the most I ever did in there was 90 days. Mm-hmm. And it's you sit in there every day, literally, you go in, you sit in a cubicle. You can't associate with nothing school related besides do your work. Mm-hmm. You can go there, same school hours, but you're supposed to go there doing school hours. But say for instance, you be like, hey, I'm done with all my schoolwork, I'm finna bounce. They be like, all right, you can sign out, you go. Mm-hmm. And so some people used to come in there for three hours and they dip. And now you got kids roaming around the streets. You know what I'm saying? And so then when you go back to school, now you have this reputation. Mm-hmm. And a lot of kids, it's an ego matter. Mm-hmm. Especially ones who went to Justice Academy, because they went in there for more violent offense, being a violent offender as far as drugs, weaponry. Now they looked at the thugs of the school. Mm-hmm. So when they do come back, be like, damn, bro, we ain't seen you in how long? Yeah, man. And they really, because they're not even get to their head. Yeah, and they're not even familiar now with how the school operations are going because they did a year or 2 years outside of a school format. Because you going in there, you getting searched every day, you getting checked, you getting worn down, you taking shoes off, they touching on your socks, going through your backpacks and stuff. I'm in there seeing. I was in there for fighting and stuff like that, but
being incarcerated.
Yeah, and then you sitting in a cubicle, but you seeing people pass drugs. Yeah. They sliding pills across the floor, and I'm like, damn, bro. I was like, honestly, I don't deserve to be in here, but I'm in.
You there?
I was in there. I'm like, I ain't on their level, bro. But at the time, honestly, sometimes you just gotta mature out of it. Mm-hmm. And it was my whole thing was I just wanted something better for myself. Yeah. But a lot of kids they fall in love with their reputation of being that guy, that one. I could have fell into that role too, but I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. I'm I'm tired of getting kicked out of school every fucking year. Right. I'm doing 90 days out of school. One time you get a spell, you can never. One time I got a spell, I couldn't even go back to the school or to alternative school. I just had to sit at home. Mm. And I was just like, man, I'm tired of doing this shit, bro. So a lot of times, that's all it is. Kids got to be tired of it.
One of the 9 studies, the group who went to Scared Straight had a higher rate of reoffense than the group who didn't go. After this comprehensive study was published, many others were conducted with different test subjects, different age groups, and different crimes. Many of the studies would produce very similar results. In 1997, University of Maryland researchers completed a report for Congress on the evidence for various crime prevention strategies. The researchers had no problem listing Scared Straight as one of the programs that doesn't work. To make things worse, these programs could potentially violate federal law. In 2002, which was 9 years before the first A&E episode aired, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention in Washington informed all states that Scared Straight programs or similar programs may violate the separation requirement of the JJDP Act. According to the act, it is mandatory that juvenile offenders and non-offenders should not be detained or confined in any institution where they may have sight or sound contact with adult offenders. In short, it's illegal to have kids in jail with adults, which makes this clip even harder to watch.
A terrified 9-year-old boy dangled like a raw piece of meat in front of a pack of prisoners. His crime, stealing pocket change from his mom and lying.
I think we can all agree that trauma...
Stealing pocket change?
Come on now.
We always be talking about stealing a little change out of mama pocketbook. Everybody took a little couple dollars.
Stealing some pocket change and what else?
Why your mama even see you there?
Like what?
Now we got also, like I said, got to look at the parental. Because a lot of times it's parental problems too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just personally, and then like in the beginning, Patrick said that parents paid for their kids to participate in those programs. I'm not paying. Like, no, baby, we go find something else. But I'm not sending my kids there. But to each his own.
A child to this degree for stealing pocket change is insane. Then filming it, editing it, and putting it out into the world is next level. One time they even showed these children a body and described to them what their parents would experience if they go to jail and die while on the inside. These programs typically break these children down. They start crying, are mortified, and just want to go home. But the sad part is, their home life is probably rough as well. On the surface, the concept behind these Scared Straight programs makes sense. Troubled kids are so afraid of prison that they change their ways to avoid such a dark future. However, there are multiple examples that say otherwise. Toby Keith Johnson was first featured on the show on season 3, episode 13. He was quiet and didn't show any emotion. The guards tried to break him down and make him feel bad about his choices, but he didn't budge. At the end, when the parents reunite with the children, Toby's mother didn't show up. 8 months later, Toby was featured on the show again. This time, he was an inmate. He was incarcerated for allegations of assaulting his mom. He got out 2 years later on parole, but sadly, continued a life of crime. He was arrested multiple times on meth and gun charges, but the most recent one was the worst of them all. In August of 2020, he was arrested for imprisoning a 25-year-old woman and making threats of harm, with Johnson forcefully grabbing the victim by the throat, choking her, and violently throwing her to the ground. The aggression continued with it, even going as far as Toby threatening her with a knife. Law enforcement would...
He's a prime example as he has some deep, like, I think therapy is a good way for him to be able to open up and express, because he has deep-rooted problems. Mm-hmm. And honestly, it could be because of his upbringing that he acted out the way he did. When your parents sign you up for this program, you go through hell in this program, and they can't even be there for you to show up and see how, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Your parent has already given up on you. So it's like, all right, the person who brought me in this world gave up on me. What they say about the rest of the world? You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why a lot of kids act that way, because they like, hey, my like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. This is...
Or visible signs of bruising on the victim's neck. I think it's pretty obvious that Scared Straight had no positive effect on Toby whatsoever. Franklin Morris made his premiere on A&E in 2012. At the time of filming, he was living in Baltimore with his mother, Dana. In an emotional episode, Dana revealed the extent of Franklin's school suspensions, stating that she couldn't even begin to give a precise number. Franklin himself shared a nonchalant attitude towards his mother's concern, saying,
"My mother says I'm either going to end up dead or in jail. I really don't pay no mind."
At the young age of 14, Franklin participated in the program, already having convictions for gambling and vandalism. One of the incidents that landed Franklin a spot on the show saw Franklin and his friends wreak havoc in a store, knocking items off the shelves and vandalizing a local shop. Years after his time on the show, Franklin Morris became one of 3 teenagers who met a grim fate near a playground in North Baltimore. Alongside a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old, Franklin was found shot in the head and pronounced dead at the scene.
When I thought about going to the jail, it really wasn't no big deal. The reset program, it didn't change me. It really don't feel no different.
Since the majority of the show's participants were children at the time, it's hard to find the long-term results of their lives. However, based on what I found, it seems like a lot of them went on to live regular lives. If you search what happened to so-and-so from Beyond Scared Straight, most of what you find is clickbait leading you to an Instagram page of someone who we can't confirm.
That's the one I was talking about earlier. And he was supposed to be one of the ones who was on Beyond Scared Straight. And this was an inmate at the time. And when they supposedly
I've seen that picture before.
When he supposedly had got out, they relinked back up. But he was in jail. Bro, he has one of the most iconic episodes on there.
That's not the one with the
little bob cut and her was straight in her head. Yes. Yeah, I'll try to find it afterwards. I cannot remember.
Scared Straight. Most of what you find is clickbait leading you to an Instagram page of someone who we can't confirm was actually on the show. So if the program has been proven to be ineffective through various extensive studies across the past 30 years, why did they do a show about it? Well, that's because the guy who has built his entire career from this program, Arnold Shapiro, is fully convinced that this program is a good thing. Shapiro says that all the extensive studies are totally irrelevant because they were done from 1967 to 1999. He also said that only the academic community believes proper counseling for youth offenders works. If society had the money or resources to do that, that would be great if every kid could have years of counseling, but it's not realistic. It would be interesting if A&E used the millions of profits from the show to get these youth offenders counseling, since society doesn't have the money, right?
That's so true. Y'all make so much millions off these kids. These kids don't see none of that money. Y'all have free profit and gain, and their parents pay for them, or somebody paid for them to even be on the show. Might not be the parent, but y'all have only monetarily gained from this.
And like you said, I don't feel like having cameras in the child face, screaming, doing all this, showing them, expired people and whatever the case. But I don't feel like that does anything. But traumatize me or I'm like, oh, this what it's like? Okay. And some kids be like fascinated by stuff like that.
Yeah, they like
okay, cool.
Y'all think I ain't on that level? I'm gonna show y'all.
I see you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't do anything. Like you said earlier, the best thing to do, because the root cause be deeper than just like, oh, stealing pocket change, like, or vandalizing or theft or whatever, or fighting or whatever the case may be. Right. It's deeper than that. Like, get these kids some like therapy, some counseling, like some for real help.
And to be honest, it still affects them even as adults.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't get worked out, it's only gonna continue to linger into even their adulthood. Yeah. And they're gonna carry that forever.
Some way, somehow.
Forever, how long it takes. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? People just don't wake up one day and be like, all right, I'm over that. I went through years of trauma. All right, the world said I should get over it. All right, I'm gonna get over it. And I'm gonna No, that's not how society works. So
of profits from the show to get these youth offenders counseling, since society doesn't have the money, right? Shapiro shrugs off the criticism of Scared Straight. There's every variation. It works for some, it doesn't work for some, but you can say that about any program that exists. Shapiro thinks that as long as it works for some, then it justifies the program. And since the program exists, he is happy profiting off of it. He has openly admitted that the children they decide to be on the show are not the ones that they think will change, but rather the ones with the best personality. It really is based on their personalities and what happens with them. We didn't have any belief that Brandon T. from Michigan, who stood up to the officers and just kind of had a meltdown, would ever change. Even when the tour was over, he got thrown out, but we still picked him because it was so explosive, and we never saw anything like that before or since. Although other kids have stood up to officers, it's amazing. When I went through high school or even college, you never thought you would disrespect a teacher or an authority figure, especially somebody in law enforcement, but these kids have no fear. It's crucial to question whether the pursuit of profits overshadows moral principles, as corporate interests often prioritize ratings and financial gain over the well-being of humans. But it makes it even worse when you consider that the people they are affecting are not consenting adults. These are children, and it's being broadcasted to millions of people to watch them suffer. They are being told that this is genuine rehabilitation, and they don't really have a choice to participate. Occasionally, they rebel so much that they get kicked out of the jail, but most of the time, they are trapped with no escape. The truth is, everyone wants a quick and cheap solution to an extremely complicated and layered social problem that is juvenile delinquency. But hey, As long as it works sometimes, it's all good. Right?
No, wrong. Well, let me. No, you go. No,
go
you
ahead.
go.
No, go.
See, you go.
No, dang.
Exactly. So I said go.
Hold on. Go ahead. I'm gonna think about it.
So I'll say this. I like personally. I know she'll say otherwise, right?
Cool.
But and I'll say this: if my mom knew about this program and if it was something like that around in that area, I 100% believe my mom would have signed me up. Back then, I 100%, because especially with the things that I went through, like it was a time where my mom literally picked me up from home, told me get in the car. When we went riding, and I'm like, where we going? She just told me shut the F up, and we rode. She pulled up in front of the police station, told me get out, and she said, go on in there, I'm done, and she drove off. I sat out there in front of the police station for about 30 minutes. Then she pulled back around. I'm like, for one, like me at my age now, I'm like, for one, don't you know that's child neglect? So if I went in there and I was like, my mom just dropped me off, you know, you would have went to jail, right? Because you like a lot of parents think they so smart and think I know what the fuck I'm doing, fail to realize what the fuck you doing. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't just drop your child off at the police station, tell them go in. I'm done with you. Then if they would have told me, put me in foster care, and you know what I'm saying. So what the hell you would have done then?
Yeah, I feel you.
But like shit, like a lot of times parents fail to because they don't like to blame. Cause they think I ain't did. That's him. Man. I ain't. You know what I'm saying.
They
A lot
like
of times
take accountability for the things,
that
the lack thereof, or the things that they do.
Facts.
You know.
And then when they get older, they're like, I ain't never did nothing like that before.
They forget,
like,
huh?
I'm like, yeah, like you know what I'm saying.
You forget the way you talked to me, or you treated me, or the things that you did, or the way you made me feel, or
then,
did, you know, whatever.
Cause like even with how my sister did her kids, honestly, I don't agree with that. But hey, it's not my kid. But my mom complains about it, and I'm like, you really can't say much because you did damn near the same thing. So now you see how you raise your child is same way how this person raising their child, but you disagree with it. Yeah. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying, a cycling effect. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't want, you know what I'm saying, you had to do differently.
Right.
But I don't know, like I've seen it where people have been sent up, locked up, and growing up. I've seen people come back and they change.
Yeah,
and they're
same.
But I also think sometimes it's a psychological change where it's like they went through some shit. Yeah. And then like I know an individual. Because a lot of times I just think about how he moved. Sometimes I catch myself like trying to find him and see if he even still alive to this day. Yeah. Because I just remember how he would move and act when we was growing up, and I'm like, bro, something literally happened to this man. Because you don't go in from being a class clown, right? You get sent up, you go get locked up, you come back, and now you have so many loose screws to the point where,
like, you know, something happened.
Like, you having panic freakouts while we in class. Yeah. You really can't be in class because you can't be around a lot of people. Yeah. You walk in the hallway, if it's too loud, you start swinging. Yeah. You always have to stand on the... Like, I'm like, is he acting? And then everybody was like, nah, something actually really happened to him while he was locked up, and he don't really want to talk about it. Like, and then one person told me, like, hey, this is what was said, what happened. Yeah. I'm like, damn, bro. And it's like, you see people, because just because your kid might be deemed to be bad, you like, as a true parent, you have to fight for your kid. Because your kid is still a minor. And if you roll with whatever advice people are giving you, now your kids fall victim to the system. Right. You have to be that fighting voice for your child until they're 18. You still have to... You don't give up on your child no matter what. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You fight for your child. Because I've seen parents say, hey, I wash my hands with it. And they kids are like, you know what I'm saying? But I've seen parents who fought for their kids and shit changed.
Turn the new leaf, yeah.
Yeah. Or sometimes, honestly, I've seen people where, all right, this is the wrong environment. We got to pack up. We got to move. And they sacrifice the move for the betterment of their child. Sometimes you have to leave that environment for your child's sake, for them to be able to live, survive, and be the successful child. Because a lot of times it's environment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Once they shake up their environment, they get around a different group of people, get more of into a positive environment.
Yeah.
You will see a whole total. Because a lot of times it's about the influence of the culture that's around them.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember graduating from high school. Teacher told me, literally, I'm walking to the stage. See, I told you this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm walking to the stage. RIP to him, but he pulled me to the side. And he just like, he was trying to give me some encouraging words, but he literally said, no one expected you to be here right now.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, they all expected you to be dead or in jail by now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I sit here, like, I probably don't look like but growing up, you know what I'm saying? Everybody has their backgrounds. You know what I'm saying? But he literally said, we all expected you, not we all, but, well, I don't know if he said we all, but basically, all the teachers I ever had, because we're from a small town, so everybody talks amongst each other. They know each other. But they all expected me to be dead or in jail by the time I was supposed to graduate high school.
Yeah.
They never expected me to graduate. I wasn't one of those to graduate. Now look at me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can change. You know what I'm saying? You can't give up on them. But you can't give up on yourself as well.
I was just about to say, you can't give up on yourself at the end of the day. Most definitely.
But I'll talk. You can speak. You had something to say earlier.
No, child. I don't even remember.
But I do not believe this program. I really feel like it's solely for monetary gain.
Oh, I do remember what I was about to say. I was just about to say that I don't agree with the show per se. Like, I feel like in some parents' eyes, they feel like I said earlier, that they feel like they've done everything and that's their last resort, or they feel like, hey, I've tried this, let me at least try this and see if it'll work. Yeah. But I feel like putting your child like through that humiliation or whatever the case may be, like you feel like, like when you really see the videos of like, even like on just Facebook, when you see like parents like recording their kids because they done did something, I feel like it can backfire, and that can even make a child act out even more and be even more rebellious. Like, okay,
or make them act out and do something they never wanted to do.
You know what I'm saying?
In the first place.
Like just all type of things. And I'm like, y'all putting the cameras in their face, y'all breaking them down, y'all humiliating them. And then this is even more because it's in front of millions of people. And then like you said earlier, now it's giving them their reputation like, oh, like now you was on this show. Oh, you still, like, you know what I'm saying? And you're like, you feel like you have to live
especially come from inner cities.
Right.
You know
so it's kind of like if y'all feel like it works for some, they could just be those ones that be like, okay, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I want to do something different.
It was only one group of people that you literally tested and said, hey, it actually works.
And this is another thing I feel like those people that it worked on, what was the behavior issue? Because I feel like that matters too. Like, what is the behavior issue? And it's like nothing like.
And we got to also realize crime has only gradually increased over the years. So the 70s crime probably wasn't as much as far as within the youth as it is in the 2000 and 2010s and stuff. Because you got to realize, like 70s gangs were going, but they wasn't like how they are now. Everybody wants to be a gang member. Everybody wants to be affiliated with something now.
Yeah.
Back in the day, like it was still very, you know what I'm saying, 70s, even though it had been around for a while, still relatively new, not like it is now. You have so many street affiliations now. Yeah. Every kid want to go out with a ski mask and a hoodie on, and it's 90 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Why? Because they look up to these folks who say they about that gang life, and a lot of these folks ain't even about that life. You know what I'm saying? They just flaunt the imagery of it. And then as soon as they go to jail, they be the main one. I gotta get out, man. Y'all gotta help me out. No, bro, you push that narrative, bro. Go live that life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of those, you see that how they really acting when they go to jail. They're not that guy. They're not.
But at the end of the day, I just feel like when it comes to like behavior issues in kids and adolescent, teenager, whatever.
But this show was just monetary gain.
Most definitely. But I just feel like at the end of the day, find what the underlying issue is. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And go from there and do all you can as far as counseling, therapy, mentoring, things of that nature.
Try to get to the root cause.
The root cause. And go, like...
And now you can figure out how to be effective.
Because just like, you know... Exactly.
Exactly. My bad. I'm not meaning to cut you off. I'm trying to finish it.
Yeah, but
I ain't trying to.
No, you good. I'm a little tired anyway. You good.
But I feel like that's the only way you can find the true root cause of a lot of stuff is finding, like, you know what I'm saying. And then like he's a guy who's is fascinated with. Oh, I can't believe. Like me, I done acted out. You know what I'm saying. I done cussed out teachers and everything as a kid. I done threatened teachers and everything as a kid. Like, it ain't, y'all looking at it as innocent. Oh, shit. A lot of kids looking like, oh, y'all like that, huh? I'm finna do it again.
Because, you know, something like, I'm pretty sure growing up, like, with you, I don't know. You can correct me if I'm wrong. It's probably feels good to have someone that's in your corner that cares, that you can somewhat look up to or relate to you or understand you or just... You know how you have people and they say that they care or they want you to, they want this and want that, but when you have someone that they show and they do the action and they really like are there, you like, damn, you really want, you know, you really believe in me. You really see something.
So you look to them as like,
you know what I'm saying?
When you do act up and they come talk to you, like, damn, I'm disappointed.
You know what I'm saying?
You be more hurt about disappointing them than you are disappointed.
And then it makes you want to, you know, I just feel like you have to get on that child's level and understand and really like dig deep. Yeah. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But
no, I just
feel like the show, it's for monetary gain, and it went on for how long it did, because I'm pretty sure you was reckoning millions and millions. You know what I'm saying? For
what?
For, you know what I'm saying? If it didn't help, because
the only thing it did was you got intrigued by it because you don't come from that background. So you like, let me monetarily exploit that shit. So
and for entertainment purposes,
like how a lot of people online now do it.
Yeah,
like y'all do all these documentaries about these hoods y'all never go to for monetary and incitement game.
Yeah,
but hey man, make sure y'all spam us up in the comment section, man. Y'all let us know y'all thoughts and opinions. But as always, I do go by the name DJ Kiddandceemgmt. We are.
We are. Go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my folks. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Get my money long, get my team strong. Get me run away from my pride.